Hello everyone, Soshiro Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and we are doing another Green Kaiju number 8 deck profile. In this particular video, I am trying to build a deck over Soshiro. I think that this is a really cool character, and this deck is very unique, and I do think that there are some pretty cool ways you can build this. I do think that this deck is probably one of the harder ones to build, so it is the one I wanted to kind of do a deck profile over, because I do think some of the other green cards can meld into kind of hybrid decks, where I do think this Soshiro deck is one that leads himself to only kind of play a bunch of copies of himself, and then it doesn't leave a lot of room for a lot of other sub packages. But I am trying to fit a little bit of a Kaiju number 8 package into this deck because the card is very powerful. But getting into it, let me zoom this in a little bit more. There we go. Alright, 4 of the final triggers. Now leave the rest to me. Is just your final trigger in life, 3 energy, 1 action point. And then we do have a very unique special trigger for this deck. 4 energy, 1 action point. Hoshina style sword slay technique number 6, 8-fold slasher. Really cool. Soshiro is really cool with his blade in this particular show. It is your special trigger in life, and it is choose one character with 3,000 less PP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. For each Soshiro card on your field, add 1,000 to the BP range of the character you may choose with this ability. So the more Soshiros you have, the higher and higher BP range that you can technically add up to this card, right? If you have, say you're living the dream and you have 8 of them on the board, well, that's 8,000 BP more that you can kill, and that gets over a lot of 10k bodies in the game that a lot of other cards can't really touch. So while it's not the most amazing special trigger, special card in the game, it does have a very high ceiling of letting you be able to kill some bigger bodies that you wouldn't be able to with other ones that just say 3 to 5k removal spells. I have touched on Kaiju number 8, the 6 drop, in the previous video. I will touch on it again here. This is just a pseudo another removal spell for the deck. Just trying to give the deck a little bit more control. I am only running this at a 2 of in the deck. 6 energy, 1 action point, raids on Kafka. We are running one Kafka that is 4 copies, so a 4-to-2 ratio for this. Raid in life, 4,000 plus BP, 1 energy generator. It says when played, choose one character with 3,000 less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. If it's your turn, you may switch this character to resting. If you do, pick a 4k or less. Activate main, switch to resting. Once per turn, this character gains 1,000 BP and impact 1 until the end of the turn. And also activate main, place 1 card from your hand to your sideline. Switch this character to active. So it is just a kill spell onto the board, and then you can also choose to rest it to give it the impact and trash a card. That way you have a 5k impact body on the board that was also a kill spell the turn you played it. Really strong card. I think it is sitting nice in the deck at a 2 because you're going to see it at least once a game, hopefully at the end of the game, just to round out finishing your opponent off with your smaller characters. I'm going to kind of go out of order of this one because I want to touch on every card that's not a Soshiro first, and we are running 4 of the 1-drop Kafka. I'm choosing not to run the 0-drop Kafka because I do feel like the other 0-drop we're running in the deck is just so much more important to make sure you can swing over some of your opponent's characters, because this deck does have an issue of not, getting to that 4k threshold to swing in. So I'm choosing to run 4 copies of this Kafka, which is the 1 energy, 1 action point, 2,500 BP, 1 energy generator. So this is going to be the guy you play down early onto your front line to get some free blocks in and hopefully get some free checks. And it just says when played, draw 1, trash 1. We've seen these cards before. I think this will help make the deck a little bit more consistent and help you be able to see some of the other key cards in the deck that you do want to see outside of him, right? Touching on the 0 that I'm running outside of Kafka, it is going to be 2 copies of this Konami Okokonagi. She is really cool. She's a 0 energy, 1 action point, draw trigger in life, 500 BP, 1 energy generator. And she simply just says, when played, choose up to 1 other character on your field, and it gains 1,000 BP till the end of the turn. This is a really important card. You don't want to just slam these down early if you can, get around it. You do want to keep this in your hand till later in the game. Try to play down your Soshiros and Minas early if you can. I know in a lot of instances you're going to be forced to play this character down. Now we do run 8 1-drops in the deck, which does make this a little bit more consistent where you don't have to always play her down. But if you want to switch her at a 3 and the Mina at a 3, I could see that being a good switch, because you do want to use her to be able to boost up your Soshiros so that way you can swing over your opponent's characters. Now, we are running 4 of the 0-drop Mina that I said before. She's a draw trigger in life, 1,500 BP, 1 energy generator. We like that she's a draw trigger because we don't have to see her in our hand, and just the draw 1, trash 1 just helps. These 2 cards just help make the deck really consistent because we want to see as many Soshiros as absolutely possible. But going in reverse, back up the chain, I am choosing to run 3 of this Mina. I obviously like the art, really cool. 3 energy, 1 action point. She is a step As her effect, 3000 BP, double energy generator, draw, trigger, and life. This is also an early way to just kind of aggress the game, while also this deck doesn't require a ton of energy, but we are running a slight package of the Kaiju. But if you do see her, she also just sets you up so well to only need to have one other card on your energy line in most cases to be able to play down some of your other key cards in the deck. Now, a card that I do think is essential in this deck because it does give you another 4000 BP body on the board is this Mina. I'm running her at a 3 of also 4 energy, 1 action point, draw, trigger, and life, 4000 BP, 1 energy generator, and she just says activate main if on the front line. Once per turn, you can only activate this ability if this character is active. So it just means that you can't activate her the turn you play her, essentially. Choose one other character in your field that will switch from active to resting this turn and switch it to active. This will come up because there are some combos that she does help us enable in the deck. And I just think we need so many Soshiro names that I didn't put her at a 4 of, but if you wanted to take out the Kaiju number 8 package and run her at a 4 of, you definitely could do that, and then it would allow you to max out this Konomi Okonogi, who I do think is really important in the deck, but I just was trying to be a little creative and, you know, find a package for us to have a bigger body on the board because this deck is so low to the ground. In some cases, we do just need to get rid of bodies that are in the way of our swingers, Soshiros coming in. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go in reverse again because I do want to touch on the small bodies before we get to the 4-drop Soshiros because I think that those 4 drops will kind of bring everything together. So 4 of the 0 energy, 1 action point Soshiro. It's a get, trigger, and life, which you want to see because this is the most important character in the deck. 1500 BP. Going up that, we have a Searcher Soshiro. This is 1 energy, 1 action point Soshiro. 2000 BP, going to be your early aggressor, 1 energy generator. And it says, when played, look at the top 4 cards of the deck, reveal up to 1 Soshiro card among them and add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added a card to your hand, place one card from your hand into your sideline. I don't like that this one makes you also trash something because a lot of other searchers that are the 1-drop searchers like this don't particularly say get only this character, but you are searching for it, right? So it's just kind of like you're going to have to really, you know, test yourself on when to play this card and when you really need to search because you may be putting other cards that you're missing down that you can't grab on the bottom of your deck after this particular card goes down. But a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, and multiple 4s. This deck has a lot of Soshiros, and we need a lot of them. 2 energy, 1 action point Soshiro, 3000 BP, 1 energy generator, draw, trigger, and life. 3000 BP for a 2 energy is nothing to scoff at. You're going to put a lot of pressure on your opponent early. Most of your early game plays is going to be 2 0 drops, 2 drops on your second turn if you're going second, which can put a lot of pressure on your opponent with multiple 3000 body attackers. And it just says activate main if on the front line once per turn. You can only activate this ability if this active character was switched to resting during this turn. Switch this character to active. So obviously we have ways to get value of tapping this character down, and then he will then allow himself to then be switched active, but only if he was switched to resting from being active, right? So it's a little bit of a setup, but we will get there in turn, right? We got a 3-drop Soshiro. This is a 3000 BP double energy generator and an active trigger in the deck, which is welcome to see. And it just says, when played, choose up to 1 Soshiro Hoshino on your field and move it to the other line. In a lot of cases, when you are on like that turn 2 or 3, say you went second, right? You play down 2 0 drops, right? And then now next turn you drop down another 1 drop and then play down the Soshiro. This Soshiro will then let you move up any of the other 1-drop Soshiros or 0 1-drops that you played, or even the 2-drop. Yeah, one of these 2 up then to like aggro, right? So this is kind of how you can get some early aggro plays to choose one of your Soshiros on your field and move it to the other line. But also later in the game, if you need to fix your energy line when you play this character, you can move a Soshiro on your front line back to the other line. It just has to swap the lines. A very versatile card, very, very good in the deck. Definitely 4 of all the Soshiros. Now, getting to the main cards of the deck that you need to see a lot of, this is our color trigger Soshiro here. 4 energy, 1 action point, color trigger in life, 4000 BP, 1 energy generator. And now it has a long effect, very good effect though. When played, look at any number of cards on the top of your deck equal to the number of other Soshiro cards on your field. Reveal up to 1 Soshiro card among them and add it to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added a card from your hand, place 1 card from your hand to your sideline. You may switch 1 active Soshiro from your front line to resting. If you do, switch this character to active. So what you're going to do is you're going to play him down, search for another Soshiro. You search depending on how many other Soshiros you have. So depending how well you're doing, you can search even more cards from this to grab another Soshiro to replace him. And then you just switch another Soshiro. You really want it to be this particular Soshiro on your front line, because then he will be able to stand himself back up to let you play this Soshiro down as active for a 4 energy, 1 action point, 4000 BP body. That's how you kind of get around like that, where most of these cards are 2 action points. This character lets you come in by switching someone to resting, and you definitely want it to be this particular Soshiro. That is the combo to do, because then now they're both active and you got value of searching your deck. And the last Soshiro, probably I like the color trigger one a lot. This one's probably super important too. In comparison, your raid Soshiro. So getting value for raiding on top of your characters. Raid in trigger in life, 4000 BP, 1 energy generator, raid on top of Soshiro, obviously. And it has a really good effect that says your opponent cannot choose this character with abilities on character cards or event cards in general. Your turn, their turn, forever, as long as this is rated. Your opponent cannot choose this character with abilities on characters or event cards unless they place 1 card from their hand into their sideline as an additional cost. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I do think that this also considers trigger events that will happen in your life, right? Because that is an event card that goes off that then your opponent would have to trash a card because it's not during either turn. I could be wrong with that one. Please leave in the comments down below if I'm not. But from the way that I see it, your opponent is still choosing this particular character, so they would have to then sideline a card from their hand, which is really, really good, right? This is a lot of aggro in this deck, and an aggro deck with protection can be very, very scary. But he also has more. Activate Bane once per turn. Switch 1 other active Soshiro on your front line to resting. If you do, this character gains double attack until the end of the turn, and this is not just when it's played. So if they do not get rid of this Soshiro, you are bringing out multiple double attackers, and you can see now why this particular Soshiro is absolutely the most important card in the deck, because he entails that you get to get value off of these 2 other Soshiros. You have this one out, you use this one to switch it to resting, get your effect to add 1, and he comes out active. Then this one will come back out, switch itself to active. So you have another one on your front line, and you raid into this Soshiro. All you have to do is then use this Soshiro to switch the other one that you have on your front line to resting, and then he will stand himself back up, and now this Soshiro will have double attack, and now you have 5 attacks on your opponent coming in 1 turn that they were probably not expecting to get. And the good thing about this Soshiro is that this going further, every single turn, if you have these 2 Soshiros comboed together, your opponent, it's like seeing a Roy Mustang. It has to go as soon as you see it, and this card absolutely has to go. But in this matchup, you just kill this Soshiro. The deck is very, very fragile, but you do have other means of, just applying pressure, because this is so low to the ground. All these low cost cards are going to be putting in work on your opponent, but this card is scary. You should be very afraid of it if you do not have a kill spell in hand. And even if you do have a kill spell, you're going to have to trash a card in your hand to even target this guy, because this is so good. I am super excited. This looks like a really fun deck to build, and I hope that other people also build Soshiro, have a lot of fun playing, because I do think this is a very unique play style of a deck. But leave in the comments down below what y'all think about this. What decks are y'all excited to build? I know that Kaiju is a very powerful, very unique set, with it only being 2 colors, and I think we're going to see some really unique deck building in the community for this set. And I do think it will perform well. I think it has some good matchup into the cards that we have in the current metagame. But please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave this video a like if you've hung out with me this whole time. But I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.